Yo, let's go, and welcome to the video. Gonna take a first look at Phase 5 Best in Slot for Sunwell. So starting off with the Helm, we've got the Dark Conjurer's Collar from Kil'jaeden, the last boss in Sunwell. So if it's gated, it might be a long time until we see this, especially if Loot Council puts us last on the prio for this. The Loot Council guilds might give us the leather helm instead. So if we compare the leather to the cloth helm's gonna give us an extra 1.9% haste, a minuscule amount of crit, and we lose 2 arcane power, 2 spell power. And we're losing 30 spirit, but in the pre-patch, spirits should give us 30% of our spirit as spell power. So even if you don't get the cloth, this will get boosted, I believe, in the pre-patch. It might get them a little bit more even, since it should give us extra spell power. I still think I would take almost 2% haste over 12 power though. So for now, I will have the Dark Conjurer's Collar. For the neck, we've got the Amulet of Unfettered Magics. Right now we should be going for the Brooch of Nature's Mercy for Phase 4. So a lot of extra spell power we're going to get from this and some spell hit. So the shoulders is an interesting slot that I'll probably come back to and talk a little more about. And we're going to want to go for the cloth ones again. It's almost the same stats, but the cloth has like 1% extra crit on it. The haste rating's the same, spell power is the same. Leather gives us 2 more int and 26 spirit. So again, if you don't end up getting the cloth in the pre-patch, this should give us more spell power from the spirit. It's also going to depend on how quick the boss fights are, so the spirit might come in handy if you don't end up getting the cloth, but for now, I will put on the cloth. So the gems I'm not too sure about with how much haste we're going to have in this phase. If adding more and the gems is going to be better at that point, or is the haste going to be falling off after we get to certain points, and having the crit spell power is going to be better. I don't know just yet, but I will put on the haste for now. Cloaks, there's really only one option. Don't have to think too much about that, but it is from Kil'jaeden, and you'll be up against all the other casters for this. So the chest piece, we have plenty of options here. We've got our leather that has 2 blue sockets with a 2 mana per 5 set bonus. And it's like the other cloth and leather pieces, this has spirit, and the cloth has an extra over 1% crit. But then we have the best of both worlds. There's another cloth chest, 2 red sockets, 1 yellow, so more spell power. And I have an improved Divine Spirit Priest, so 3 extra spell power from the spirit from this. So the haste drops by 6, and I would probably have 2 haste spell power for the 2 yellow sockets in here. I'm a spell power lover, so I will pick Robes of Ghostly Hatred. Wrists is a pretty easy pick. Our tier wrists, so we still shared these with Rogue Mage, and I believe both Rogue Mage are going to want these. Probably the Resto Druid and Ferals. The Tank Druids might not want their tokens, but these should be coming out in the first phase of Sunwell if they are going to gate it. So we'll have plenty of time to get the tier tokens. So for weapons, we have a nice beginner upgrade with the Mace, which we might have to share with Shadow Priests, maybe even Ellie Shaman, and a Pally Tank maybe too. The staff is just insanely stacked with hit. That's why it's got so many EP points up here, but there's no way we're going to need 50 hit to get capped. So we'll be picking the Sunflare, which is another Kil'jaeden drop that almost all the other casters are probably going to be after as well. So we might be sitting with our Reign of Misery for a while until we can get the Sunflare. So for offhands, with the rest of the set, I don't think we'll need the hit from the Chronicle. Blind Seer's icon listed as second also has hit, which we shouldn't need. So I'm going to pick the Heart of the Pit. No crit on it, all haste. The spell power kind of evens out with Chronicle because of the intellect difference. That is a good point for the Heart of the Pit, is it has 21 int compared to the other offhands. So gloves are kind of like the chest. We have plenty of options. The leather will probably be the easiest to get as a zone drop. I think even if we get these, we probably won't be wearing them, at least for a while, because we'll be having our gloves for our 4-piece set. We have some BOE crafted from tailoring, which depending on the mats might take a while to get, how long it takes for the pattern to drop and all that stuff. But I do believe the crafted are better than the leather. So we might end up getting almost all of these gloves, or at least 3 of them, by the time Sunwell is over with and we head into Wrath. And then the difference between the top 2 cloth is the hit rating and spirit. So one has 27 spirit, the other has 27 hit rating. So in order to get capped, this is the piece that I chose with hit on it to get us there. Waist, we really have one option, our tier waist. So we have 3 choices for legs. You should probably already have the leggings of channeled elements. So the breeches of natural aggression, the only leather piece, I think would be a big upgrade from those if you don't need the 18 hit on the legs. And then leather is kind of on par with the pantaloons of growing strife. The main thing is the leather has crit and pantaloons has haste. Spirit and a little less intellect. The breeches no spirit, a little more intellect. I like the sockets better for the leather legs. So if it was only these 2 that we had an option from, I wouldn't mind having the breeches over the cloth. You know, maybe get the leather first and then get the cloth later on and swap them out and see which one you like better. I feel like the haste might end up winning if you put these into the simulator. We'll have to see. But then we have leggings of calamity. It's got the best of both worlds. It's got crit, haste, spell power, the 2 red sockets, 1 yellow, the 41 intellect. So to me, this is the clear winner if we can end up getting them over some other casters. And for the feat, we have our tier token. 11 mana per 5 is pretty interesting. A nice little bonus. Nice to see it has haste and crit on it as well. And for this, I do have 2 points in balance of power. Sometimes we drop a point or 2 depending on what gear we have. But for this set, both points will be in balance of power. So let's look at our hit right now. We're at 9.5%. And we want to be as close to 13% as we can. So we still have a little ways to go. So the first way we'll get there is that jewel crafting ring I had made a video on. It's going to take us a while to get this ring because of how many things have to line up in order for us to get it. But eventually we'll have it, and that helps out on our hit. I'll skip the second ring for now because the Skull of Gul'dan. Most of us are last in line. I haven't seen it yet, but no other trinket really tops this one, and that puts us right at 12.96%. So we won't need the mana attuned band. Maybe you will until you get the Lupiforged power crafted. So this is something I'm going to be after in ZA for the next couple weeks, just to have for the extra hit to swap out, move gear around just in case while we're upgrading all of our pieces. So for the second ring, we will have the Ring of Omnipotence. Captured Storm has hit, Fused Nether Gone Band has hit, so it's really our only other option. For our second trinket, I think we might have some options to play around with. The Hex Shrunken Head, maybe the Timble's Focusing Crystal in the pre-patch, since we should be putting up Insect Swarm again. That might be something to just keep and have in your bank. Magister's Turret's heroic, so should have plenty of time to pick this up. It's got some spell power on it too, but in Sunwell I don't think we'll be using this. And another one I'm interested in is Shifting Naru Sliver. A lot of haste built into it, but the on use is what I'm most curious about. I haven't seen does it take a global cooldown to use it. With it only lasting 15 seconds, I'm a little worried. I feel a lot more comfortable if it was 20. But 320 spell power while you're standing in it seems like it'd be some really fun burst. So I might be trying to pick this up too. So if we look at it from Wowhead, the good thing is it is only a minute and 30-second cooldown. So that could be a big determining factor on which trinket we have. It might be something like we switch out the Hex Shrunken for Shifting Naru depending on the fight. If the fight's like 2 minutes long, we could be able to be getting 2 uses out of this, but only 1 out of the Hex Shrunken Head. So I'll put this one on just so you can see what our haste is looking like with the full set. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with all of my choices for now. I'll be going over this plenty of times just to see, if I'm missing anything. Waiting to hear feedback from all of you. If you see something that I haven't picked up on, maybe there's a trinket I didn't see or something like that. But with this set, we're looking really good on haste, over 30% haste. Not the best on crit though. So depending on if we keep some of those leather pieces, we can sort of balance these 2 stats out. But hit is looking really good. If you're Alliance, you'll have an extra 1% hit. So your gear might change by 2 pieces or something. I don't know what an Alliance set would look like. And if you're a jewel crafter, you could have Pendant of Sunfire on, and then you'd have to switch out the ring to the mana attuned band to make up for the hit. Or I guess that could be a way. If you were Alliance, you could have this and then put a hit gem in it. So that would give you the extra crit, a little less haste. Well, the haste and spell power from the gem and socket bonus would give you more spell power and even out the haste almost. But I don't plan on going jewel crafting for the neck. But that's one option of how you could take advantage of the jewel crafting neck, is if you're Alliance, to try to not be so over-capped on your hit. Enchanting, of course, and having jewel crafting might set you up for Wrath if you were interested in having jewel crafting for the next expansion. So one thing you might have noticed is we only have 3 out of the 8 set, so we're not getting that 4 set. I think what's going to happen though is by having this be our Helm from the last boss and all the other clothies probably wanting to go after it, that we'll probably have our tier Helm still on. So this should be our 4-piece up until we get Dark Conjurer's Collar. So then you'll just have to make the choice. Do you want to have only 3 out of the 4-piece, or do you want to switch one of the other slots to get that bonus? Probably going to be easier to use on the simulator. I know people are really loving the tier 6 4-piece bonus right now in this phase, so they'll probably want to have that. But if we changed the gloves, we would be losing a lot of hit, a lot of other stats, so probably don't want to have the gloves for the 4th piece. The robes is another one. We'd be trading a lot of haste, some spell power, and we would have that 17 extra hit from the tier. I probably wouldn't use the chest. Shoulders have hit as well. Legs we would be losing a lot of stats on, so it's pretty hard to say which of our 4th slots we would want to have for this 4-piece bonus. So another thing you might have noticed is my meta socket is not active because I only have the 1 blue gem in my helm. So what we can do is go to any red socket and pop in the fluorescent tanzanite from Heroic Blood Furnace. So we still get the spell power and a little bit of spirit. Or if you don't want to worry about running Heroic Blood Furnace or the Force Spirit, then you can just get the regular glowing Shadow Song Amethyst, and that'll take care of that. But this is where I'm at right now. If you've got a different set, I'd love to see it. If you could post a link to it in the comments, hit the share button up here to get your link. Don't copy it from the URL. Post this link in the comments and I'll take a look, and I'll see you in the next one.